This is my audience. I'd like to thank you all for coming today. I'm pretty sure that everybody here either has kids or has had kids that has rode a school bus to school. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the safety issues of that right now. The scene's all too familiar. You walk the kids to the bus stop, they get on the bus, and as the bus pulls away, the parents wave goodbye to the kids, and you start walking back home, getting ready to pursue your day and what you need to do. But what I want to talk about is what happens when that bus pulls away and you hear this. Not a good sound. What I'd like to talk about today is the seatbelt usage on school buses. Now, laws and enforcements on seatbelts are getting stricter and stricter all the time. Passenger cars, you now have to have special seats for children. Front seat passengers have to be belted in. Used to be pickup trucks didn't have to have seat belts. Now you have to be belted in pickup trucks. It's increasingly getting stricter and stricter. But one thing that has not changed is seat belts on school buses. This doesn't make sense to me. I'd like to explain the current thought process why there are not seat belts on school buses. And then we want to see what solutions and actions we can do about it after that. The current thoughts is that seat belts aren't needed on school buses because they're already too safe. Now granted, they're big tanks and you rarely see one tipped over, but here's some of the thoughts behind it. In a passenger car, the kid is sitting down and their feet are actually about 1.5 feet off the ground. If a car were to get sideswiped by another car, the child could be injured very easily because they're at the same level as another car. However, in a school bus, they're up about 3 feet in the air. Anything that hits them broadside is going to go under the bus, isn't going to hit them. Unless, of course, it's a big truck or a train. And we'll get into that later. The design of the bus, they feel, is safe. They use something which is called compartmentalization. What that basically means, and I'll show you a picture here. After we quit crashing. Okay, as you can see here in this photo, these are dummies, of course, and I unfortunately found a lot of graphic pictures on the internet that I could have used, but didn't want to use them. The design of the school bus is showing a high back seat, padded backs on the seat in front of them, and the thought process is that if the bus gets rear-ended or front-ended, the child's going to slide off the seat and hit the padded back of the seat in front of it. Okay, I buy that. But the other problem is, what happens if the bus tips over? Now, if you can see up here, these kids are all the way up in the corner of the bus. So a side impact, or if the bus goes off the road and tips over, if the bus runs into a train, it's not really a good scene. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says that testing shows that compartmentalization offers protection in frontal and rear crashes if children are properly seated, but offers virtually no protection in rollovers or side impacts. The other reason that they don't go on the other reason that seat belts aren't on school buses is the schools don't want to pay for them. They say that it's prohibitive and they can't afford to put them on the buses. They say that the budgets don't allow for installing them, and that also you might have to have additional staff on the bus to walk through and make sure that all the kids are buckled in, because obviously the driver couldn't do that or schedules wouldn't be met. I don't know about you, but to me that's a small cost to pay for the safety of my child. You have people on airplanes to make sure people are buckled in. Why not school buses? Okay. Statistics show that way too many children are being killed or injured in school bus accidents. I'm going to quote something that I read from the Pediatrics Journal. It was printed on November 2006. There were an estimated 51,100 school bus related injuries treated in the United States emergency departments from 2001 to 2003, for a national average of 17,000 annually. The other point is, one death to me is too many. Listen to this information. In a quote from the 2005 study from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, an average of 21 school-aged children die in school transportation-related crashes each year. I feel we can all agree that our children are worth the cost of providing a safe trip to school. Let's look at what can be done. In car seats, a lap belt isn't safe for small children because their bodies are still forming and it comes across their hip joint and it's not solidified yet. It can be very dangerous, which is why most cars have gone to what's called a 3-point seat system, which basically means it's going to go somewhat across the lap, but it's also going to go from the shoulder across the chest and hook up beside them. That's going to keep the child completely restrained. What I'd like to show you is a picture of what this looks like. These seats are already designed. They're already available for schools. As you can see, the child has a lap belt and a shoulder belt that keeps them secured in there. I think you'll agree this is a much safer way for a kid to go down the road in a school bus. These seats are low cost. To outfit a complete bus, it's approximately $1,500. And we spend more than that on athletic equipment. Look at some of the buildings that the schools are made out of and what materials they use there. Certainly they could scrimp some corners so that the children that have to attend that school arrive there in a safe condition. Since there are 3 belts per child, there's no capacity loss. That's what a lot of the schools were afraid of. Gee, if we put seat belts in, there might only be 2 kids per seat, and then we're going to have more buses to get all the kids to school. It's already designed where 3 kids can fit per seat, which is the maximum allowed. So that's no longer an issue. So we've examined the reasons why we don't have belts on our buses, the number of injuries or deaths that have resulted from this, and a viable option to increase the safety of our children. I have a petition that I need each of you to sign. I plan on presenting this to the school board at their next meeting on this coming Friday. I urge all you to sign this, and if at all possible, attend this meeting and help support our push to get seat belts put on our buses at school. I'd like to leave you with this thought. What you hear on TV all the time is click it or ticket. Don't you think that should apply to school buses too?
Yeah.
Thank you.
How long is it? 8:55.